Hi, this is Sunny, and I would like to introduce the third pattern. One of the international tourism patterns in current era is traveling from LDC to another LDC. The example includes Indian tourists in Dubai, Brazilian tourists in Argentina, and Chinese tourists in Thailand. It accounts for 5 to 8% of all tourism, and it is expected to grow in the future.
Economic growth is considered as a main factor of LDC to LDC traveling. According to Bolton's 4 phases of tourism participation, LDCs of this pattern is classified in its phase 3. These countries are almost industrialized, their population is largely urbanized, and middle classes become dominant in the society. The economic growth rises up their income and living standard. The efforts make people start to experience the joy of traveling. The middle classes in phase 3 tend to visit nearby countries, especially some LDCs. It causes that much of the growth in LDCs inbound tourism in fact comes from other nearby LDCs. The changes of social value about consuming also contributes to this pattern. The economic growth of globalization has changed the life and the way of thinking of people from LDCs. For example, in China, the idea about consuming is gradually changing from saving money for others to spending money for themselves. People are more willing to seek for personal pleasure by spending money on their trip. In our case study, Chinese tourism market in Thailand is a typical example of LDC to LDC traveling. China is one of the largest individual markets for tourism arrivals in Thailand. After Chinese government opens the outbound tourism market, the Thailand soon become one of the major destinations for its forced tourism, sand, sea, sun, and sex. The convenience of location, and most importantly, the affordable price level for working people and the general public in China. The impacts are particularly obvious in LDC's countries. The positive impacts felt greatly on its local economic and more often the quality of life. However, the negative impacts include the increase of cost of living and the price of house and lands.
Hi, this is Nao. I'd like to explain about the fourth pattern, which is from less developed countries to more developed countries. Since it is an emerging trend, it accounts only for 2% of all international tourist movement, but it has a great potential to grow.
The flows from LDCs to MDCs are shown by green arrows with this map. So why is this flow happening? There are mainly 2 reasons, which are globalization and economic growth. Globalization includes political improvements, such as decrease in political restriction to travel, and technological improvements such as aircraft. Economic growth is also the key driver of this flow. Thanks to economic growth, now people in LDCs have enough discretionary household income to travel to MDCs. The main country of origins of these flows are China, India, and Middle East. To use an example of Australia. Australia is one of the MDCs which are receiving a large number of Chinese tourists and regarded as a key market. According to Tourism Australia, the potential Chinese tourists to Australia is 860,000 by 2020, and the expenditure by Chinese tourists in Australia will increase up to $9 billion in 2020. Australia defines China as a key market and promotes a lot of marketing plans. However, if the Australia receives such a huge number of tourists from LDCs. It is obvious that there are both positive and negative impacts and difficult to manage them. So what are positive and negative impacts by this rule? Positive impacts include increasing cross-cultural understanding and boosting economies in MDCs. Negative impacts are vandalism by tourists, conflicts between local residents and tourists lacking morals, sanitary problems, increase in crime rates, and so on. In conclusion, although this is the least part of tourists for these days, it is the most potential growing field for the future, since the population in LDCs will increase dramatically for next few decades. Therefore, it is essential to pay attention to this flow and have strategies to manage both positive and negative impacts.
Everybody, our video comes to a conclusion since we've discussed an important analysis about main 4 patterns of tourism flows: MDCs to MDCs, MDCs to LDCs, LDCs to LDCs, and LDCs to MDCs, and their negative and positive impacts on the origins and destinations have also been discussed with relevant examples. In the future, the tourism flows are going to continue growing. Let's wait for their changes. Thank you for your attention.